So there's two vehicles I'd like to do. I'm hoping the Lynx is still on the menu here. There it is. So I am going to outfit. First of all, I'm going to deliver these. I'm going to deliver the non-rental. So if you haven't already heard, the Lynx is going to be issued out to all Phoenix and Phoenix Emerald owners. So you will be able to enjoy using the Lynx without having to pick another one up. You can always get more, but you will get one issued with your ship. So just like the P-72 or the P-52s and all that stuff, just like the other snubs, the snub ships that go along with the Connie series, the Lynx will be like the Ursa vehicle, where you will have that capacity built in. So that's pretty dang cool. This is the meme that you've seen probably on our StarCitizen already. It's just impacting inside here. These hollows really don't matter. This is kind of frustrating. The paint is not available. I also find it interesting there's a flare item section. It's not usable yet, but that's pretty cool. You can see the dual Parasize 1 cannons. They are laser-based cannons, which I'd recommend. And then you can also see these these yellow jacket Gatlings as well. So that's pretty cool. It might be small, but it packs a mighty sting. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and spawn it. It's a shame I can't get the skin on there. I have the moonlight paint for it, but it's not listing it. I guess it's in the grand scheme of things, it's fine. Now, I'm sitting here and I have 82 FPS, 89 FPS. I don't think I've ever seen that in StarCitizen. So the new graphics card, if I edited this the way I said I would, this is front loaded, so you haven't heard that yet. I am running a 4070 Ti. This is my first in-game of it, and I'm in the 319 live patch. The Lynx just got released. We're right now in the Drake Defense Con weekend, and yeah, I also have a 7800 X3D, 64 gigs of RAM, running at 6,000 speed, and a 67 X670 motherboard. So this is my attempt at band-aiding the problem of not getting to have other options. Wow, this thing's quick. Okay, so far, this is my second time actually getting inside the Lynx, but I was on the showroom floor before when I checked it out. This is the first time I'm actually driving it around. So, first impressions. I like that it has high beams and low beams. That's a nice touch, and then off. That's pretty dang cool. It is pretty quick. It's on the Ursa frame, so you've heard that probably already, that it's a lightweight Ursa, essentially. It's a little weaker than an Ursa. It has less hit points, but it does have a small armor coating underneath. The idea is that it's supposed to be kind of a compromise vehicle, where it has a bit less robustness and hardiness than the Ursa, but it doesn't. But in exchange, it's more fancy, it's quicker, and more probably slightly more maneuverable at that exchange. It's also quite a cool looking little vehicle. Yeah, it's pretty damn quick. I would say it's at least maybe 2 or 3 kilometers faster, probably top, and then probably a decent chunk of acceleration better. Because I mean, let's brakes are good. Let's reverse. Pretty good. I don't know why that was clunky. Oh, it looks like everything in the back fell over. Oh boy. Well, it is what it is. Speaking of the back, let's check that out. So, obviously, you have full breathing back here. One thing I did notice pretty cool, you have this enclosed space. So, this is obviously your 2 seats for your VIPs. Let me slow down by walking a little bit. And this can be closed or opened. And I noticed this right here. The pilots and the gunner seat, let's call it, It says passenger seat, I think, when you actually hold it, but yeah. But it's more of the remote turret owner, and you can handle like comms, maybe, you know, talking with the locals and stuff. But there's lights up here that are pretty chill. So you can change the lighting in the front. It's hard to see because the headlights are so bright, but you could be pretty stealthy with this thing. Let me turn the lights off. There we go. So you can also open and close this door while you're seated from either station. So I think that's pretty cool, where you can sit there and you can call out to the back or something, have those communications, and then give them their privacy. So this is pretty cool. You can see some of the lighting standards. The people in the back have their own lighting as well. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. I'm kind of going through a subsystem. So these lights, as promised, this is pretty dang stealthy for what it is. Let's see if that kills all the lighting. Okay. Okay. You know what? Let's just sit in one of the VIP seats, and then I'll be able to show you what I mean. Properly, without it getting all wonky. Oh no, okay. This is weird. Although, I will say this, this would be good for, in a weird way, this would be good for machinima and stuff, where you can be seated inside, and you can still, like, show off. Like, somebody could come in and give you a status update on something, and then literally just walk back out. Or your guard comes up from the front, from the gunner seat, and sits there and says, "Oh, there's been an issue. Oh, we're sorting it out, though, sir. Thank you." You know, without having to have a camera crew inside, laying on the floor trying to figure out how to hide themselves in such a tight space. So I know that's a minor thing. There we go. I know that's a minor thing, but for me, but the type of stuff we do is pretty cool. So you can see there is still some light coming off this thing. And that's unfortunate. But let's take a look. At any reasonable distance, this isn't going to be that high profile, especially if something's flying over trying to keep an eye on things. Although it's not stealthy as much as I thought it would be. I thought those lights could be fully turned off. So, yeah. It's not meant for that, but still. One thing that there was a complaint about was that they had these windows that were not quite tall enough. And there's a very, very important reason that those windows are like that. The wheel well stops right here. So because it's based on a utility frame that's designed to go off-roading, it needs to have reasonably sized wheels. So those windows are not that useful, I guess you could argue. It's better than nothing. I mean, it's still a window, but it's not huge. That being said, the window that kind of curves around from the top to the back is nice, and there is a hidden button on both the chairs, where if you click that, you can face each other. You can utilize the lighting controls like I talked about before. And then also, you can easily see through these windows. So if you were, say, watching a supernova or some other thing, like in front row, like the area or something, you could back the vehicle in, and this would be a nice observation place. These two seats would face this way, and then the two people in the front would come here and hang out. You've got drinks, you know, for RP and stuff. It's kind of cool. For just an org kind of bouncing around, having a good time, I could see it for that too. Because here's the mini fridge here. And I love the contextuals. I just wish these were a little bigger than the actual item. You can see you have waters built in. Obviously, you have space for more, but, you know, who's actually going to do that? 4 waters for 4 seats makes sense. The champagne, which more of just is for show right now. But in the future, obviously, that'll be something. and then you have a dual weapons rack. I wish this was 4 weapon rack for large sidearms and such. Like 4 long arms is what I'm trying to say. But, I mean, 2 long arms and it looks like 2 smaller arms is actually not bad. I just wish it was 4 long arms. But then again, I mean, you'd have to make sacrifices somewhere else. Additionally, you have your vehicle components over here. And once again, these buttons need to be a little bit bigger, because they're very easy to accidentally hit the wrong one. And also in a rush, you're trying to get to a weapons rack, this button needs to be huge. I mean, this button really should like be a handle like that, and big right in the dead center, and click, and it goes. And then you can have this button too for, you know, just for looks or whatever, but really the usable one for rushing is down there. So you can see you can get all your components inside, and I love the fact they're inside the vehicle. So there's less risk of somebody just stealing your components off the side of the vehicle. That's absolutely is a thing, especially as components become more and more of a real object that can be taken or changed out. If somebody doesn't have authorization, but you still get away with it, it's not fun. This space, I'm not quite sure what the core here is supposed to be. Like, it's some type of computer system. I don't think it's for data running, but who knows, may surprise me. This side here is for a single box run. So if you were putting a box in here, you'd have enough space to take a box, come in the door with it, and then slap it up here, and then you could close the door. It's slick. I wish it had space for 2 boxes, because there are plenty of delivery missions that require 2, and you're breaking out an entire vehicle to do the job. But you can always just put some boxes on the floor too. I love the way this aesthetic is. I do think it's weird that when you stand on it, it doesn't like block it that much. But like you can see, it does reflect off your person, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty slick. It feels a lot like a fancy car, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I hope that I can do another video about this that's really in-depth. That's like a fun, really in-depth video that can dig in with somebody who is quite the expert on vehicles. But for now, this is kind of a first look video. I'm very impressed. I'm very pleased with this design. I think this is a vehicle that you can enjoy, and if you already have a Phoenix or a Phoenix Emerald, or if you're looking at one of those vehicles in the Phoenix class, I don't think you're not gonna. This is a nice vehicle to have. Now, if you're considering, like, say, doing a 5 or 10 USD CCU from like a regular Ursa, it's absolutely a thing. And that's the real use case for most people. Most people don't have just a Phoenix laying around. So, or buy one in game, by the way. You can always buy all the stuff in game. This moment, it is not, but you can buy a Phoenix in game at New Deal right at Tisa Spaceport. But you cannot buy a Lynx Rover probably for a patch or 2, and then it'll be in game. And I think this will be more expensive than an Ursa. It has very fancy materials. It is quite a looker, and it is a cool vehicle. It's a status symbol, really. And I gotta say one other thing real quick. So on the CIG video covering the Lynx, I think it was the ISC, they talked about how, like, oh, it's got windows at the feet, ha ha ha. That's actually a real thing on aircraft, where they give a better vantage point to the crew, like on helicopters and planes and stuff. Every little bit of extra viewpoint works. In the case of this vehicle, unfortunately, due to the way the command console, due to the way the driving parts kind of come up to your waist, the one window is blocked that's like right at your foot, but this window is perfectly open, and vice versa, so the remote turret position can see down here. That is very useful. It's not perfect, it's better, but it's certainly, you know, better than not having it. And the reason for that is very simple. You have a view of what's obstructing your wheels, or you can see just how close you are to that rocky cliff you're trying to navigate down the side of. So basically, for off-roading, without having to hit F4, you can still stay in person and drive and have all your controls for driving and such, and still have great visibility at the wheel well. This is a side note, but a car topic, but the Ariel Atom had a great reputation for a while because it was a what's nicknamed a naked car, where a lot of its fenders and stuff were missing, and a lot of its bodywork was missing. and that allowed you to be able to look down straight at the wheel, and you could see exactly where you're going on a track. That was not an off-road vehicle, but still, the same idea is certainly relevant, and it's very exciting in the car world.
To the ASOC vehicle retrieval system.
Now, on the Ursa topic, I'm going to pull out an Ursa Fortuna. So this is I would call this a cousin, if you will, of it. Or if you're being less charitable, you could say this is the grandfather of the Lynx, the father of the Lynx, whatever you want to call it. So like the parent of the Lynx. I don't know if that's necessary, but you'll see this. This is a big difference. And I usually use the side door, but I wanted to emphasize just how different it is to have a door back here, and look at all these chairs. Look at the 4 chairs you have just in the back. Look at the way you have 4 long weapon racks. Isn't it weird how I keep talking about that? And here's 4 of them. And it's module access and a full-on locker. Right here. All in the same space. Now, there has been a community push for eventually having an Ursa that has a medical tier 3 bed in the back. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but that has been a thing that people have been asking for a long time. If you were wondering about that turret access, both the Lynx and the Rover, the Ursa series, have the turret access right at the front. So, pound for pound, let's see what we're doing here. You can see the Ursa's no slouch. The difference between the two is actually pretty small. You know, so when I say 2 or 3 kilometers or whatever, it's not that much different. One of the things I can say is that the Lynx feels smoother than this. And at the end of the day, when I put them right next to each other, right now the Lynx has its turret up, and so does the Ursa. So height-wise, they're dang close, right? The Lynx was originally designed for the Connie, had a smaller bay. It was supposed to be slightly shorter. But when we actually got the Lynx now, if we take a look at it, the difference, if there is any at all on the scale, is minuscule. And I honestly don't think there is. As a reminder, you can always disengage the turret. You can power down the systems, and then the turret becomes smaller, and you can put it basically out of your way. It's one of the cool features on the Ursa and the Lynx, is that the turrets basically can be put on the side. This rail allows this turret to slide down the side of the vehicle and be out of the way, between the wheel wells, nice and tucked away. Same with this one. You can see it here. Although obviously it's less pretty. So when I take a look at the two vehicles, one other thing I really like about the Ursa is, this may sound weird, but the tinted windows, I like them more. That's just kind of a thing for me, I guess. You can see, I just got done explaining visibility is really useful and critical. And unfortunately on the Lynx, a piece of extra material is put on the front as a bumper that has like this colored effect on it just for looks. And maybe a little bit of extra protection when you bump into something, but unfortunately it's there, and it blocks some of your visibility dead center bottom. But as soon as you drift anywhere towards the back, obviously the visibility is infinitely better on the Lynx. You can absolutely see that these two vehicles are designed for two different worlds, really. Also, you can tell that the Ursa was designed in an earlier time period. If I go on board, there is no lighting controls on the Ursa. This is the Fortuna edition of the Ursa, but it's the exact same thing as the regular one, just a different paint job on the outside. So, inside here, you can start seeing the controls will be here, but they don't exist yet. The Ursa is pretty old, and it is still like a looker. I mean, it really has a lot of cool stuff. Like I said, the lockers, 4 long arm storage, 4 seats in the back, 2 in the front. It has the same door concept as the Lynx, where they can be separated. although you can tell it's a louder environment on the inside. Note that you have cargo storage, so these can be closed, and now you gain utility. So you may not have that storage of the box to store, but you can place 6 boxes back here on actual legit cargo bays instead of having to bounce around like most people will end up doing. With these magnetic storages, these are cargo bays. So you have 4 seats or 6 box storage, give or take, and then you also have the 2 in the front, seat-wise. And it's a pretty cool configuration. Once again, the biggest thing this thing's missing is a fold-down med bed, or 2. I can dream. And that brings me to another topic. The Lynx, if it really wanted to set itself apart on like a scale that would like really knock your socks off, I would say that it needed a bed option. Even in the Q&A, one of the questions that was chosen was, does it have a bed? And the answer is no, but the seats are comfy in the Q&A. And that's not the same, because without a bed, you are not able to go to log off in this vehicle. Sure, those seats do look pretty dang comfy, and they're pretty cool. They swivel and all that cool stuff, and RP-wise, they are phenomenal. But at the end of the day, it is a limited... The vehicle has limited itself because you've sacrificed all that cargo space, and you only have 2 seats instead of 4 in the back to generate a reasonable amount of luxury. And that's a cool thing if you're looking for luxury. It's also a cool thing if you're looking for quick. Or, dare I say it, if you're looking for something that is low profile military-wise. And Ursa is a kind of an overtly utility/military vehicle. And Ursa is one of those vehicles that people will look at and think there could be 6 guys on board or more kind of squeezed in there with all these weapons. This Lynx tends to disarm, I would argue will tend to disarm people a little bit in the sense of, oh, there's a maximum of 4 people on board that are actually in seats. They have less weapons. They probably are not here for military reasons. And that could be actually an argument for the vehicle, being that it's a little quicker, being that it's less armored, but still enjoys having a pair of size 1s on that turret. That's the most important thing, is that turret on top. It certainly has some low keyness to it that I do admire. I think these screens in the future will also be a little bit useful. You have a core that's designed to make it work. I hope that they're not just always going to stay RP. I hope that these screens will allow you to kind of get into comms and have other things popped up here in the future. Although obviously you have to base your decisions on what the vehicle is doing now. And in the future, if it has all that, that's just a bonus. Make sure you're happy with this vehicle, especially if you're going to convert, say, an Aurora series or a Avenger or something like that to this vehicle. You better have a ship to transport it, and you better appreciate have a need that really makes it valuable to you. I'm just showing that basically it's just a literal champagne bottle right now. You can't drink it or pop it or something like that right now. Still, it's cool. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on this first look. I am pretty pleased with the way this turned out. I'm glad to see the backlog get fixed a little bit. Yes, I know the storm exists. Yes, I know that needs to be covered. But right now, I'm just having quite a lot of fun. And if you take a look at that, look at while I'm driving, look at what's turning while I'm moving my mouse. That turret is focused wherever I look. I think that's the future of a lot of ground vehicles, especially like the Storm is a single person driving it as well, with the turret controls. A single crew on the Storm. And if you look here, this pair of size 1s were completely driver controllable by the mouse. That's pretty dang slick. So, if I jump in the Ursa, I'll be honest with you, I didn't test that before. I did not realize that was a thing. Now I did. I'm being careful just because I'm right near a major gate. I sincerely doubt anybody's around, but... You can see here on the Ursa, the turret does not just follow where I'm looking, but, well, it is actually operating, as it just yelled at me saying the armistice zone. But if I enter the remote turret, I can control it just like I'm in the passenger seat, or co-pilot seat, co-driver's seat, whatever you want to call it. You can see the turret moving around there. And now I have the same capability. I had to engage the enter remote turret feature, and then I could engage it. So both vehicles have that capability. But yeah, the whole argument that originally was done was the Ursa was... The Lynx was designed to be shorter than the Ursa rover, just for the Phoenix, etc., etc. That's all hogwash. That's not a thing. When it actually finally came out, clearly that was not a thing. And it's just fine, honestly. I'm kind of happy the Lynx doesn't feel like you're like ducking your head down to get in it or something. I like the button being in a dedicated space. I like that the capacity. I like it's simple and it's a large button. We're not really at this point where these little tiny buttons are a good idea. And especially if we ever get to VR and years from now, proper VR with controls that are VR based, like Knuckles or some other newer technologies, whatever comes out, it's really a bad idea to have that small of a button for VR. The buttons need to be spread out. They need to be a little larger. Even if it's just for that reason. This is a test of the smallest of the capacity areas to see if it'll fit the Lynx. Obviously, the Lynx was designed to go into the Phoenix and comes with it, but just for the heck of it, I'm going to go through the process of opening this up and seeing where we stand. Notice it was really easy to access that little button. I like the visual cues that they have. Okay, and let's roll on up there. So when you hit F4 and jump into advanced camera mode and then hold down the Z, you can spin yourself around. That's what I keep doing. And that allows me to control this a little more effectively. So, and get like a visual of like how far up I am versus side to side and such. There's a little bit of an art to opening and closing these things with a vehicle on board, and I'm no master of it, but I can finagle it enough to make it work. Okay. Obviously, I just learned a lesson. I should have made that a little bit more to the center. It's not like the Ursa where I can just hop out the back if the side's too close. Very smooth, even with the turret up. It's like barely touching. If I disengage the turret, I'm sure it would be even better. I would have to drop this down to get over there or to do some hoppity hops, but obviously it fits. And then you call down the elevator, and there you go. So, I'm impressed. I think the Lynx is a really nice vehicle. I think it's got a place. I'm actually going to do a little bit of testing here, just landing it at Tiza. And, yeah, but as for the video, I should probably just end it here. I'll end it with Moonlight Sonata. And then in my overtime, I'll show you me trying to scout for the gate and checking out the new areas a little bit more. This is pretty cool. Moonlight Sonata on a sunrise. I'll take it. Just wanted to also say thank you to all my subscribers for sticking around. I'm circling 1,000 subscribers. If you haven't already hit that button, please do so. I'm hoping that once I get past 1,000, I really don't remind anybody for a while. It's been a long time journey. This channel has been growing in a weird way, like in these bursty type moments in these large events. Saw something fly by at like 1,000 miles an hour. Probably a player elevator. But then long lag times in between. So thank you for sticking around with me, and especially as I grow with my content creation, and I try my best to make things that everybody appreciates in the community. And there's another video coming up pretty soon where I'm covering all of the About All Ships roundtable. My timelines are ridiculously long on that, and I'm also breaking out the whiteboard for that discussion. So that'll be stay. Keep your eyes peeled. That'll probably be up to tomorrow, probably Sunday, pending no surprises in RL. But yeah, 4070 Ti first run, not a terrible run. I'll take this. Fly safe, everyone. Enjoy the rest of what's left of launch week, and have a good one. So, first run with the 4070 Ti installed on my regular build. So the 7800X3D on an X670 Mobo with 64 gigs of RAM running at 6,000 speed. And now I can finally say a 4070 Ti. That's just as much as I could possibly afford to band-aid the situation. I was hoping by this time this year that NVIDIA would finally get their head together. And I have to stick with NVIDIA due to my software editing tools, mainly being NVENC-based and NVIDIA-based, unfortunately. But here we are. So that's going to be where I'm at for a long time, I think, unless probably till the next generation, and then I'll go all out and splurge or something. But at any rate, I am seeing relatively good runs, FPS wise. I'm starting to think that I'm actually getting capped by the server, by the rendering capacity of the game now. When I was picking up my ship over in Area 18, I was getting 70 FPS, 75 FPS averages, and all the way over here in Lorville in the middle of the night, so that's with all the lighting on and such, I'm seeing 40s or so. And I'm grading harshly, because, like, for example, where I'm at right now, I'm getting like 47, but the minute when I look at the city fully lit up, it's dropping to like 40, 41, 42, somewhere around there. I'm currently searching for Gate 01 in the pitch black, and it's not an enjoyable experience. Oh man. And one of the other things that's nerve-wracking is I have no idea if I'm going to slam into terrain. So in these type of scenarios, it's really important to not go too fast, and also stay in the higher numbers. So when in doubt, you move in the non-negative numbers, because if you go into negatives, you'll start diving down. It's very easy to get like the equivalent of vertigo and go ahead and crash, you know. So I'm currently looking for Gate 1. So that's one of the few gates I know I've used in the past and had success, where basically you go to the Hearst Dynamics Tower. You're staring at the city, and you're facing towards the tower. And then you hang a hard left, go to the end of the wall, and then Gate 1 is at the other end of the end of the wall. Unfortunately, the gates have relatively good lighting, but only when you're right on top of them. And then they have a giant number put on the wall right where they're at. So I'm looking for a gate with a 1, and I'm trying to get as close as possible to this wall without it getting trespassing or slamming into the wall or hitting this thing. And the pylon, the the risers that are inside the cockpit here, these spars of the Phoenix design, due to RSI's old school, the older version of RSI's design language, keep making me feel like I'm about to hit a pole, like they're suspended in okay. Now that I'm starting to get closer, my rendering of the lighting is better. And yes, my draw distance is up considerably, but it's tessellization and all that's good. But plain and simple, the headlights in this game just kind of are terrible. The throw distance on them, here, I'll show you. Without them, it's even worse. But when you're not close to something, it is an incredibly nerve-wracking experience. So right now, I am looking at active loading ahead, steering ahead, active loading something. This looks like all the new stuff. So it's possible that I overshot Gate 1 because of all the new things. I thought in my head that I was traveling along the wall, but indeed I was in one of the satellite areas, one of the new ones. But still, this gives me an opportunity. Even when I'm lost, this is a beautiful game. It is an absolutely beautiful game. Nah, there's an old saying, not all who wander are lost. Like the guy who invented the National Park Service for the United States said that. Or some poet that was a friend of his. I forget which. But, yeah, sometimes I feel that way in this game. That it's worth getting lost sometimes. But anyway, as I'm throwing on like afterburners and kicking up speed desperately to avoid losing too much speed while I'm screwing around out here. I'm currently looking for the gate so I can spawn the Lynx. And my hope is that I find it before daylight or I run out of hydrogen fuel. Because I'd like to be able to show it off in a nice spot like this. A truly, it is, like it or not, I mean, Lorville has a certain look. And it's a pretty cool look. But I have not transited to a Lorville gate since the changes of these furnaces and all this outlying structures and such were added. The city of Lorville is basically kind of divided up, and then there's like these huge Mega City 1 from like Judge Dredd type stuff walls around the edges of it. And you can see Tiza spaceport off to my left. Right now, I might just have to go back to Tiza to help make it easier for me to... That's probably the best thing to do. I'm just wasting fuel at this point, screwing around. But yes, so I need to go find a gate. And the easiest way to do this is if I had somebody online, if I had a friend online that happened to be near Lorville, could invite them over to this server, have them come on, and then turn around and just say, hey, can you go to one of the gates when you're in my party, and then I can see you as like a beacon, so to speak, and then fly straight to you. Like I said, I have not gone to the gates since the change. My God, it's beautiful. I get distracted easily in this game, especially with new stuff. But Lorville is one of those interesting places right now, to say the least. It has truly got a nice aesthetic now. Well, a Lorville aesthetic. Let's just keep it at that. Okay, so here's the problem now. I need to orient myself, because if I don't, I'm gonna screw this up again. And I only have so much fuel to waste screwing around. So, apologies for the whiplash there. But if I'm passing the Tiza and I have got the CBD on my left, I should be able to go straight ahead and just follow this city. and then go to gate 1. The operative word here is should. Should. Now, there is a rail line that goes straight to it, so it's possible that it's over to slightly to my right or slightly to my left. And I am genuinely not quite sure. I don't even know why I'm recording this, to be honest. I've seen that, like, my streaming videos type open gameplay videos are really poor performers, and unlike my lore videos, they don't have like a die-hard following or something. So maybe what I'll do is I'm kind of a peek into my editing mindset and process and stuff. I think this is the wall right below me, by the way. I'll probably front load this video, so like I'll show off the vehicle and then swap back. Like this will all be at the end here, for people that just want to hang out and just kind of see, you know, Lorville a little bit more and check out some interesting stuff and adventure. Yes, this entertains me. I really enjoy this type of stuff, but unfortunately, you know, my streaming videos don't really do well. I guess that's kind of the problem, though. I mean, it's part of the platform too, if you think about it. I have no presence on Twitch or anything like that, or I'm just about to say TikTok. I don't think they do streaming or anything. It's just how little I know about other platforms, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. But I just know they don't do well. So, I have 2 targets I have to find. So this one's straight ahead. I have to go over there and see if that's the gate one, or the one to my hard right from here. So I'll do the left one first, and then I'll go back over. Because I'm thinking this might be it. This seems like a grand entrance to a city, where you have the furnaces on both sides kind of setting the tone, and that highway, and I think the rail lines all feed into this one spot. And I probably should jump back in the cockpit to see if it's screeching at me or something. Got trespassing or some other nonsense. That awfully looks like an entry point. I may be way off, but that awfully looks like one. Even though it doesn't look like I recognize it. I need to really slow the heck down. Oh, come on. This would be wonderful if this is it. So it looks like it says gate 2. I'll take it, even though it's the wrong gate, but I'll take it. It looks like I am, that would mean that, if I remember right, gate 2 is like at the 3 or 4 o'clock position, if we're talking about a clock. Oh, I wasn't landing gears. I think I swapped over to landing gears because I was oh, no, I wasn't. Okay, cool. I was going to say, if I did have landing gears out, it would have been because I was panicked about making sure that I didn't accidentally slap the ground too much. The landing gears on larger ships are actually very, very forgiving. But with a ship like this, when it's a larger ship, without those landing gears down, you see that right there? Instead of all that kind of back and forth, the pressure would be applied directly to the frame of the ship. It could, in theory, actually break off the lower engines. On the Connie Andromeda a long time ago, that happened to me, where I accidentally broke the engines off. There's a very confused soldier right there. I'm gonna not make him mad. Although, I'll be honest with you, the AI's hit and miss still. Let's not kid ourselves. So I sincerely doubt there's other players around, but just for the heck of it, as a safety feature, I'm going to do my patented quick jump here, where practically I'm already off the pad and I'm throwing it back up. Also, I turned the engines off if you're newer to StarCitizen, that's an important thing. It makes it easier to load. It makes it less inconvenient to other people because you kick up a lot of dust when the engines are on. I'm gonna check my fines, even though I don't think I have any. Whenever I fly around a lot, sometimes I have fines that are like 1,000 UEC or something silly. It's better to avoid than worrying about bounties or one of these random NPCs just shooting you for out of nowhere.